What is going on, everybody, and welcome to episode 4 of the Think and Trade Rich YouTube series here. And before we get started, the first thing I just want to say is we don't charge for this information. The only thing that we do ask is if you get any type of value out of this, like please just like, comment, share, send this to people that you know might need it. And yeah, that's really just all we ask. So with that being said, we're about to rock and roll.
So today we are going to be talking about one of the misconceptions in trading. You know, I think I said this like 3 times in other videos, but what we're going to be talking about is, do you really need to be trading all day? The fallacy that like you need to be on the charts all day, that people that don't actually know trading and been in the game a long time think that you are sitting in front of a chart all day and your eyes are fried like fried chicken, you know. Like they're thinking about the movies that like where you're looking up, down, tick, up, down, bar graph, 43 different charts. I really only trade with a laptop. That's all and a phone. That's it. Right. Just to get that misconception out the way. You don't need 44 different screens. There we go. Video's done. Now I'm playing. But the number one thing I want to start talking about is how you avoid over trading. And you avoid over trading by having rules that you set for yourself. And I want to talk about that, saying that with a market so vast and limitless, no matter what market that you trade, it could be forex, crypto, stocks, futures, a lot of different markets. At the end of the day, you know, they are billions of dollars, trillions of dollars. And the thing is, people get a misconception by others as saying, oh, you can make a ton of money. Look at this, like $6.6 trillion. If I could get a piece of this, a crumb of this, I'd be good. But yet they're not thinking about that. They're looking at the big picture where they're like, I want Lambos tomorrow. Right. I want Ferraris tomorrow. Yeah. At the end of the day, you're looking way too broad and you're not really getting into the specifics of trading. And that's why you have to have rules for yourself, right? You need to have boundaries that you set, which comes from your experiences in the market and you learning them. It's gonna take learning from your your losses, your break evens, your wins, your losing streaks, your winning streaks, the amount of money that you lose, the emotional burdens that you take. It's gonna be a collective of all that information to narrow down the times that you trade, you know, the pairs that you trade. You're gonna get so specific that really you're only gonna be on the charts for a certain amount of time. Like Jared and me are on the charts from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's our entry window to actively make money. Listen to me, it's to actively make money. It's not, you know, studying is a whole different principle. I could be studying all day because I could start off with this information and learning it, and I could be learning it all day. But I'm not placing trades all day. I'm not actively looking to make money the whole day. I have a very short time window that I set with very tight rules that I know like the back of my head after learning this for so much time. Right. And it's like, I'm only gonna execute on this time. And at the beginning stages, it's phenomenal to take massive action to learn this information, to program your eyes. But you have to remember, this is a marathon. You know, no matter how many times you heard that, it's like any profession. It's gonna take time for you to train your eyes, for you to get really good on what you're gonna trade, what you're gonna execute, and how you're gonna execute it.
100%. And yeah, just to piggyback off that with the misconception thing, it's the number one question that I get asked after people say, what do you do? And I say, I day trade. And they're like, oh, I could never do that. It seems like it would take up too much of my time. It would take too long. Right? Don't you do that all day long? Mm-hmm. Like those are literally I'm telling you, 9 out of every 10 questions.
Same here.
Is that question. And I'm just here to tell you guys, like, look, I trade, and it sounds in hindsight now, like it doesn't take a lot of effort. Like we studied a lot, we did a lot of self-development. There was a lot of work that was done behind the scenes that ended up reflecting on the charts. But in terms of actual physical chart time, it's a couple hours a week. Yeah. In and out. And that's the thing. That might be our window, but realistically, we might get in a trade maybe 2 times a week, 3 times a week max, and then you got your entry and your exit all happening within that 3-hour window. So if you think about the actual amount of time that myself and Rob are in positions, it's probably maybe a total collective of like an hour to 3 hours
Exactly.
every week. And I just want to say that as like some type of assurance to the fact where, okay, you're probably going to have to put in some work, probably a lot of work, right, over the course of years. Maybe it could be months for you, whatever the case is, to get to that level of proficiency, but that is not even necessarily active trade time. Okay, and once you get to a point of profitability, it's gonna be, like we're saying, something where it shouldn't be like an all-day addiction. And the thing that I want to talk about, I was talking about this to Rob earlier. I had just watched like the Lord of the Rings and like the whole series of movies, and the thing that is like, when you hear big numbers like that, like trillions of dollars in the market, this is where the banks make money, this is where all the big companies have their money invested, whatever the case is. Oh, Bitcoin's going to 100,000, like all the stuff that like, you know, you're hearing and you're like, oh my God, like there's so much money to be made in trading. I think of, if you guys don't know the example, I'll just give it to you very briefly, right? So in one of the movies, there's this group of dwarves who are trying to get back to where they're from, like where their homeland is. And inside their homeland, the mountain that they live in is like an unlimited amount of gold, right? And there's like this dragon protecting it. It's very like sci-fi type movie, right? So eventually, long story short, like they get access back to their homeland and all of the gold that they have there. And then the king like loses his mind because greed takes over the instant that he sees something that's like limitless in terms of money. And it's like having those rules set for yourself and being on the charts a very small amount of time it's not only comforting to know that anybody could eventually become profitable with this skill with very little time invested in terms of actually executing positions, but it's also the fact of the matter of having such a small window where you can make money, and having those rules set for yourself almost eliminates greed altogether. You know what I mean? Within our course that we have out, it's like there's a lot of different techniques that we teach, but one specifically that we're going to give to you guys right now is, like you said, setting those rules. So like between 8 and 10, between 8 and 11, whatever the case is, like if you execute there, it can only be there. It can't be like you're not going to be up all night, like bro, the classic meme, I wish I had my phone on me, of those people like walking around like
just like
at the gym on the treadmill. They got in the grocery store, they got the sharpened cart and they're like grabbing food, whatever the case is. Like that'll never happen to you where you see these people that like addicted to the charts or whatever the case is, just by having boundaries that you set for yourself.
And I want to touch on what Jared said a little bit, and I said earlier, you know, the way you're going to discover this is really journaling, you know, and we have a journaling section and we have an online trading journal, and right now we are working on having a physical journal for you guys and to be available very soon. But we have an online journal out, and if you want to find out more about that, hit the comments, follow on Instagram, ask us more questions. Definitely we will give you a lot more information on that. But journaling, at the end of the day, it's the keystone. How are you going to find out? How are you going to get better if you're not logging all this, you're not tracking all of this information?
Right.
Like, I suck at London session. It would be terrible for me to only trade London session and not New York session. It'd be like, okay, well, I'm gonna stay up till 3 a.m. until 7 a.m. and that's it. And I would have terrible accuracy rate and a terrible losing percentage. But then if I go to New York and then I see my journal, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm a lot more consistent in New York. So I guess I should just cut out, London, right? Because I did this before. I trade London to New York, thinking that grinding is better. And you know, I think we said this in the last video. It's like grinding is a terrible word. Grinding is literally reducing something to particles, and just terrible. Like I don't like it personally. Me, that's the way that I feel about it. And I know Jared feels the same way about it.
Yeah.
But think about it. Like I'm gonna make money. I'm gonna make bread. I can make 3% in London session, and I can make 4% in New York, and all this bread. And I'm thinking it's like, oh, the market's so vast, so limitless. You know, here's like $100,000 a month. This is simple. This is not hard. Maybe if I do for 2 days a week, but then like I have to sleep like majority like the whole day, and it just really doesn't make sense. Like you have to really look at your journal and be very self-aware. And in the course, Jared does a phenomenal job, like going over self-awareness, and it's something you really need to have, because like I'd just be playing myself if I would still be trading London and New York to this day.
I try to do the same thing. I think I was trying to do the same thing more recently, like at the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
And I had that attitude, like,
Yeah.
if I just trade bull sessions, like I'm gonna make twice the amount of money every week.
The thing is, I did that before you, and I was like, bro, I saw it already, and I was like, Jared, bro, bro, just trade New York, dog. I know you're good at trading New York. I was like, I didn't know exactly 100% what your winning rate was or anything thus far, but I'm just like, Jared, bro, I just know you're not a London session trader. And you see, I could tell Jared that, but he has to journal his trades to find out, bro, I'm not getting no sleep, I'm feeling like Garbaggio right now, it's not working.
Right.
So you need to be very self-aware, and guess what? You're self-aware to the point you're like, I'm gonna cut it, New York, boom, this session, that's it.
Yeah.
So,
it helps keep you in control of yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And the actions that you're making is dude, and it all starts with habits. At the end of the day, really, if you can't keep a basic discipline that you set for yourself, you're gonna have a way harder time keeping disciplines that you set for yourself around money,
100%.
So it's if you can't
it's all a culmination of habits and skills that we acquire within trading. You put one into another. It's like a whole line. It's a whole system that you need to develop in order to get the current results that you desire it, and then we have.
Right.
And at the end of the day, I heard this from a distant mentor. He's a phenomenal mentor. Learned so much. Me and Jerry learned so much from him. Day trading is not everyday trading either. Right. And that was such a nugget that I heard from him, and I was like, that's so true. And knowing that we live that right now is you're right. I only took 3 trades last week. I took 1 on Wednesday, and I took 2. I'm over here ooh. I took 2 on Friday, and that's it. That's it. I didn't like nothing else. Nothing was it didn't correlate with me, and I'm just you know what? I'm gonna set it out.
And the fact that you can take a day off and have the paradigm of day trading is not everyday trading. It almost and this is gonna be a free gem for you guys. It's one of the strategies that we use to eliminate fear, where you're not gonna have that fear of missing out if you can discipline yourself to taking days off.
Exactly.
I don't trade Sunday.
Same.
I don't trade Monday. You know what I mean? And it's I have those disciplines already in place, and just out of Tuesday through Friday, I'll probably trade half those days.
Exactly.
Like you just did last week, right? So not only do we have the discipline of scheduling days off, but within the days that we're considering trading, we don't even take trades all of those days, which is a big nugget that you guys can go apply right now to eliminate that fear of missing out and fear of missing moves. Because once you understand that the market should be playing your setup, if not every day, at least half the days of the week, you're gonna get your setup and you're just gonna do what you gotta do within your time window, and then you're out.
Exactly. And with that being said, Jared said it phenomenally, and that's how I said phenomenal wrong. Phenomenal. Jared said it phenomenal at the end of the day, and that's how we're gonna close out here today. He definitely gave you guys a gem, nuggets, chicken nuggets, whatever the case might be. Take that and go apply that into your trading, because we do the same as well. And with that being said, guys,
comment, subscribe, support the channel. I'm telling you guys right now, within the next year, this is going to be the #1 trading psychology channel on YouTube. So I appreciate you guys, and we will see you on the next video.
And keep out for our trading psychology course by the end of the month. You will not regret it. There is a lot more information than we actually talked about here. This is just the baseline. We definitely get more into the course. So see you guys soon.